even though I had gone through the process of learning and getting a degree and spending all that money, I still had to I had to do a lot of research on my own and reading and YouTube University.
You are listening to the Artist King podcast. I am your host, DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com. The Artist King podcast features artists, entrepreneurs, and business coaches who share their knowledge, expertise, and resources to provide insight into the ways we can find our own personal success with our creative talents. Stephanie MAYS is the founder of MAYS Designs, a Christian website design agency located in Conyers, Georgia, servicing the faith-filled and business-minded. They focus on developing professional custom website designs because your brand is unique and so are your customers. On the MAYS Designs website, Stephanie maintains a blog focused on sharing industry resources and tips to educate the emerging entrepreneur for better and effective business marketing. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I am blessed. I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad. Enjoying myself and feeling good to see you after the last time we had and do an interview after the last time we had an interview, which was a few years ago. And so I'm very excited to hear more about what's going on with you and the kind of art and creativity that you're into. So please tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, I am Stephanie MAYS, CEO, founder of MAYS Designs. With your brand in mind, I like to say I basically work with faith-based entrepreneurs and community organizations, helping them to develop their websites and develop their brand using a strategy approach, just to help them to become leading competitors or leading in their industry.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like the motto is having something catchy to say after your name or your brand name is pretty cool. How did you come up with that?
Well, it's pretty much based off of my my strategy. I like to start with strategy when I go into design. So a lot of times people do designs and you're just going based off of what you like, but I like to say we're going to keep your brand in mind as we go along. So there's got to be a strategy that we apply as we design.
And so let's talk about how and where did this creativity in you was born? Do you and I'm pretty sure it didn't start with like web design, but tell me about your journey. When did you first feel that edge of creativity creep into your life? How old were you?
Honestly, I grew up with a creative family, so I've always been kind of adventurous. I like to work with my hands a lot. And honestly, I didn't really know what I wanted to do coming into of age when it was time to decide. I didn't really know because there was so much that I was exposed to, like music, art, and just all kinds of things. So I didn't quite know what direction I wanted to go in. But I just kind of looked at all the different skills that I had and just kind of played off of that. So I started off with writing. I went to school for English. That didn't quite fit with me because I wanted to do a little bit more than that. So I went from that to fashion design, and then from fashion design into web design. And I got into web design because my brothers and my sister and we have a gospel singing group. And so there was just a lot of stuff that we needed in order to promote our band. So that's when I kind of got into web development. I learned to code and just took some courses online before I just went into school for it. And it kind of grew from there, web design and graphics.
So first you step into it because it's a need that you have,
Right.
for your family and in your group, gospel group. But uh, instead of just trying things out, you decided to learn a little bit about it,
Got it.
so that you can be effective
Right.
with it.
Right.
I think that happens a lot. Don't you think it happens a lot with some people that we come across where they've done their own website or they tried their own flyers or done something, and then it's like, who told you to do it this way?
Right. There's I do notice that a lot. There's a lot of people, especially now, everything is do it yourself,
Mhm.
with all the AI and stuff that's coming out now.
Mhm.
But even with the ability to do things quickly or to have things created for you through like these
Mhm.
AI platforms, um, there's still always an element that's missing. You know, there's
Mhm.
always that personal touch. It's almost like having a microwave meal versus a home cooked meal. There's still something missing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
R- Right. 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 So not only is it the ingredients and the fundamentals of design and web design that you have to think about, but also having that human touch ready as part of the identity and message so that it makes sure it touches another human.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. I got you. So you took some online courses and stuff. Did you go to school for graphic design or web design? Did you get an art degree in any kind of schooling?
Yeah, I did. I actually did. I went to college and I got my bachelor's in fine arts graphic design with a major in website development.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you did follow through with it just to get as much knowledge as possible. I learned everything from the internet and books, and but no matter which route you go, you should understand the fundamentals and the basics so that you are the principles of design and all those things, so that you can actually um, make a difference with what you're trying to do. I get it.
Right.
Mhm. So thinking about your family, you mentioned a few things that you mentioned a few things like your family is very creative. There's music, and fashion was something that you touched on. Is everybody in your family an artist or creative, and what are they doing? Like how that what kind of life are you guys living, or did you grow up living where there was a lot of art or creativity around?
We actually didn't grow up where there was a whole lot of art and
Mhm.
creativity. It just kind of evolved into that. We actually started off working like with my dad at a young age doing construction. So that's totally left field of what we're all doing now. But
Mhm.
um, my family is very creative. All of my siblings draw, and two of them have really dived into it more so than myself and my older brother. But yeah, they do digital art, they do the uh, hand drawing,
Mhm.
traditional artwork, and uh, my mother actually she does crocheting, so that's another form of art in itself.
Mhm.
And even I guess you could say even construction, because my dad builds a lot of different things. So there's a form of art in all that we do and all that we've grown up with, but nothing specifically to like what I do
Mhm.
that I see growing up.
Hmm. And do you ever think about fashion design in your day to day, or do you keep the fashion to yourself? Because I know that you and your brother are like sharp dressers.
Oh, I kind of keep it to myself, honestly. That was just something I like to do growing up. I would draw different clothing designs and stuff like that. And in the future, that is something I want to kind of move towards too, like a side
Hmm.
project, but not it's not my main focus right now. But I haven't let go of that idea. Yeah.
Okay. Keep the outfits and design ideas to yourself. That's cool. So tell us a little bit about that journey and that transition from understanding and learning from uh, school the graphic design, and then understanding the needs that you guys have for your own gospel group, and then figuring that out and saying, well, maybe I should charge other people for this.
Okay. Well, honestly, going into schooling, I felt like when I came out, I didn't really know everything that I needed to know in order to work for somebody else. So I can say my confidence wasn't where it needed to be. Even though I had gone through the process of learning and getting a degree and spending all that money, I still had to I had to do a lot of research on my own and you know reading and YouTube University just
Mm-hmm.
learn uh, and then just trying with other people. So I worked on the website for our group, and then, I started to meet other people that were in need of websites and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I got to kind of try out my skills and learn a little bit more, just with family and friends that didn't really care too much if it wasn't perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started
they,
to get
they
a
they
little bit
tolerate adjustments.
right.
Go ahead.
Right.
Sorry.
So I got to get that real world hands-on
Mm-hmm.
experience through family and friends, and then build up my confidence a little more, and I was able to start charging
Mm-hmm.
for that work.
And so when you start charging, um, how did you go about finding clients? Because friends and family is sort of easy. It's like, hey, I'm gonna do something for you, whether you want it or not. And then sometimes family does come to you anyways and ask you for something. But customers, clients, like, how did you?
But I think I was lucky because a lot of my clients have been word of mouth. So
Mm, mm,
I guess I got a good little network going because that's even now that's how I get a lot of my business is through word of mouth.
mm-hmm,
And so people would share, what I did for them, and other people would come to me. And then, as my confidence built up a little bit more, I was able to start charging more, just getting a better understanding of what my time was worth.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm. And so when you're looking at clients, or when you're talking to clients or possible clients that come your way, what are a couple of things that you pay attention to see if this is a client for you?
Um, I definitely look for those red flags. I look for those people who want to be pretty much your boss.
Mm.
Those are the type of people that are really hard to work with, and I kind of steer away from because they don't come to you as the professional. It's like they
Mm-hmm.
come to you for the help, but they want to tell you how you need to help them. And it's those type of clients are pretty hard to deal with because
Mm-hmm.
they don't really see the value, first of all, in what you're offering them,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't quite understand the process. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the type of people I kind of steer away from, um, and just kind of let them do their own thing. But
Mm-hmm.
the things that I do look for are those who are open to learning, those who know, I don't quite know what I want, and they're open to going through the process of, not just jumping into design, but actually sitting down and putting a plan together so that
Mm-hmm.
we could create something that doesn't just work, but it works,
Mm-hmm.
helps them to actually reach their goals and fulfill what they're trying to do.
Right, right. And so I'm imagining that you have a process where as soon as you're starting to talk to a potential client, you already making decisions as you're talking to them, and
Right.
then you're steering the conversation your way and through your path. And if they fight it, then that means that's not it. That it's like, okay, cool. Well, good luck with your with your project.
basically, basically.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And so how long did it take you to develop this process? And
Honestly, it took a couple years because, um, like I said, I didn't start off working for somebody else, so I had to
mhm.
kind of create the the process on my own to see what worked for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn that, not all money is good money. So some things it's just not worth your time. Some people are
Mm-hmm.
more of a headache than I'm
Mm-hmm.
really willing to deal with. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had to definitely learn through trial and error. And it took me a little while to see that I needed to take control of the situation and
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I'm taking the lead at all times because supposed to be the professional,
Mm-hmm.
and they're coming to me for help. It's like if you go to the doctor, you're not going to go to the doctor and tell them, I need this, this, and that. You're going to let them prescribe what's needed so
Mm-hmm.
that they can help you, get
Yeah.
better.
Right. Well, and then the professionals, they went to school and they have
Right.
labs and they have other professionals to back up their work. You don't take a blood test and then walk around behind the person who's got your blood and then walk around behind the person who's doing the lab test telling them what to do.
Right.
Right, right. So yeah, yeah, it's if you're seeking a professional, then you have to let the professional do their part. That's good. And so you said a couple of years. So how long have you been doing web design professionally for other clients now?
Oh, I think it's been about 14 years. Yeah, it's been
Really?
a really long time because I actually started before I went to college,
Mm-hmm.
because I took some courses online, and yeah, it's been about 14 years.
And so what kind of that's a long time, but that means that you've seen it all. You've seen good things, bad things, and you've seen the internet change.
Right.
Yes.
And that's
So
changed a lot.
yeah. So what are your favorite types of industry to work with?
Hmm. Um, I like the community organizations,
Mm-hmm.
those type. I really like working with those. They just because I get to learn a lot about how they're helping their community and
Mm-hmm.
just help them to really display what it is that they do, um, so that they can attract more people to them. They can attract the funding that they need. So I
Mm-hmm.
really like working with those type of organizations.
And which are the type of clients that fly you out?
Um, oh, believe it or not, it's a lot of times it's been churches.
Okay.
It's been churches. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it is, but like I haven't had the best of luck with some churches. I don't know what it is about it,
Uh-huh.
but I think they're very particular, and some of them don't really know what they want, and
Mm-hmm.
it just becomes a little too difficult.
Right, right. But I seen you on the plane, on pictures of you on the plane,
Oh
and
yeah.
and you're saying you're at work or going to work or meeting a client. Like, what kind of clients are those?
Now that one in particular was at skincare. So
Okay.
I've done a lot of that as well. So
Uh-huh.
that's not bad too. I'm not um e-commerce isn't my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I could do it. I don't have a problem with it. It's not my favorite, but that
Mm-hmm.
actually was one of my bigger clients for skincare out
Mm-hmm.
in California. So I got to fly out there and just see the warehouse and get a hold to the products. And I even helped work with packaging,
Mm-hmm.
developing the design for packaging and stuff like that. So
Wow.
I got to do a little bit more than web development. And that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Nice, nice. Okay, so because I already got like a million questions. I'm sorry. So uh, so you some of your clients have been churches, healthcare, skincare,
But
and community organizations. So you pretty much move through their different types of industries when it comes to web design.
right.
Yeah. And do you have some kind of any industry you would not work with,
Um,
or do you look for certain specific types of industries, like real
well,
estate or car sales, or I don't know? making things
Real
up.
estate I wouldn't have a problem with. Anything that's not wholesome,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that kind of goes against my image that I would be embarrassed to share in my
Mm-hmm.
portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
I tend to stay away from. I have turned down some things that I just like. Yeah, no,
Right.
I wouldn't
Cause
really want my name attached to it. To it.
yeah, yeah, that's something that as an artist myself, I've in the past 10 years have slowly gotten away from drawing certain things. Because I want to feel like, and I got grandkids, so I want
Right.
to feel like my grandkids. It's okay for them to look at what I'm drawing,
That
and
makes sense.
yeah, and that's the measure. But it's also a few things that it's like, yeah, I don't care to draw. Like example, guns. Like I don't draw guns anymore.
Thank
But I switch it out to like pencil guns. It looks like it's a pencil. It's a big
Yeah.
pencil or something like that. Swords and things, and they're just big pencils. And I asked that because in your website it says helping faith-based businesses and community organizations connect and grow, and you mentioned this, but it's faith-based, so and because come from a gospel a family of a gospel group, is your faith something that you use also to measure your clients with, and helps you decide?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And I feel like because I marketed myself in that way, it
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily attract people who aren't,
Mm-hmm.
faith-based. And it's not necessarily like your business has to have a faith-based name and all this stuff. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that you have morals, and there's certain things that you would do as well.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the type of people that I try to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Like the industry doesn't matter too much as long as, it's a wholesome business and something that I would be okay with working with.
Yeah. Some people would say that that's kind of limiting yourself. I'm all for it because that means you're niching down. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Definitely niching down, it actually helps with like SEO and things of that nature too. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like you should try to take on the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody for those people too,
Mm-hmm.
and just staying focused. And if you niche down, you do find there's a bigger group of these people than you know, you actually think. And I honestly don't think that it puts me in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there's a lot of people that are in different industries that are faith based. And when I say faith based, it's more like faith filled but business minded. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say not necessarily churches, but
Mm-hmm.
you're a business owner and you have morals and values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of helpful um, to focus on who you want to work with because it makes it more pleasant experience, and it shows in the work,
Right.
right? Yeah, it
That's very true.
mm-hmm.
It's very true because I've worked with some people it's like, man, let's hurry up and get through this project. I do not want to do this ever again to myself.
Uh-huh. Right, right, right. And so there's that part of what you just said. That means, and that's where the experience comes into play, so that you know what you like and what you don't like.
Right. That is true.
And so in the beginning, did you when you started with friends and family, and then with your first couple of clients, um, did you make notes as to, yeah, I'm gonna start organizing what I ask and what I say in a way to because now I know what I don't want to have to do or don't like to do.
In the beginning, I didn't. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest, I didn't in the beginning, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just because I didn't understand. I was taking on whatever came my way. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know. I was just trying to get that experience, and it was another opportunity. So whoever came
Mm-hmm.
my way, I just took it. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, if I was feeling like, oh my goodness, why did I do this to myself? I
Mm-hmm.
just I guess I could say I just didn't know better because I thought, this was the nature of the business and
Uh huh.
that's what I have to deal with.
Uh huh.
But I learned that, I have a choice. I don't have to just accept anything. I don't have to just, go with whatever comes my way. And that's when I started saying, okay, I don't ever want to deal with this ever again. So
Mm-hmm.
it's okay for me to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's feelings will be hurt. They can find somebody else.
Mm-hmm. So
So,
you have to go through the experience. Then that's it. That's in the beginning. You don't say no because you're like, hey, let's see what happens.
mhm,
And but then that's it. Through experience, we start to figure things out, and you also figure out, well, maybe I should charge different for this.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Now that in itself was a journey too with charging because starting off I didn't know what the proper rates were. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know how much work it was gonna be, and so I wasn't charging enough. I wasn't charging nearly enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I felt bad about it in the end, like, man, this was not worth the money at
Uh
all.
huh.
And
Uh
so
huh.
that's when I began to raise my rates and
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, my customer is gonna understand, you know, what it is that they're getting at this price. And, if they don't understand, and I just can't put myself through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and because it is either more stressful or more time consuming, or it takes a longer time, and to figure things out, then there is you have to be compensated. You have to um, uh, you have to um, there has to be the value has to show
Right.
in what you get out of it versus what the customer gets out of it. So yeah, I get it. That was something that took me a long time to figure out and understand myself. Because I do think that in the beginning we get caught up in, yeah, let me try it out. I'm okay with that, or even, it's money. It's like, I'll take that $100,
Right.
and then you're like, whoa, that's a lot of work for $100.
Right. Right. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. And so, talking about the skincare example, you said you also got involved with their packaging. So, are there clients you work with like that where it's an overall brand design, not just website design?
Yes, there are a couple other clients that I've had that I've done the same thing with. I've done the logo design, the web design, the copywriting, social
Mm-hmm.
media marketing,
Mm-hmm.
just pretty much almost everything that has to do with the brand. Because it's like once you set the foundation of the
Mm-hmm.
brand, and you really can do just about any area because you have that layout of
Mm-hmm.
what things should look like and who your target audience is. So,
And so all of that should be consistent, right?
oh yeah,
Anyways, so it
definitely.
helps. Mm-hmm. When it's time to brand people and keep their brand in mind, it needs to, everything has to fit together. So no matter where you go with social media, the website, the branding, it has to be consistent. And so it's great to have your hand in all the different parts of it, so that like an art director, like a creative director, almost. Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I've definitely kind of stepped into that position of being a creative director and
Mm-hmm.
like I said, setting the foundation for the brand so that
Mm-hmm.
all the marketing materials and things that's produced have that consistent look and feel.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And so this is good. This is good. It's good to see the how you deal with clients and they have an idea of how you want to go about it. It's great to see you flying out to places and cashing large checks, I'm sure, doing fun stuff. And so, where do you find time for a hobby? And what is a hobby?
I say the weekend. The weekend I have had to scheduling is like my best friend
Mm-hmm.
right now because if I don't schedule or plan out like everything, then I end up overworking myself and getting overwhelmed. overwhelmed. So
Mm-hmm.
I got to take my day of rest, which is
Mm-hmm.
usually Sunday. And then like on Saturdays, I try to do little to no work at all. And just try to plan to do things like, even if it's something simple, like go for a walk or go out to eat, try
Mm-hmm.
out a new restaurant, different things like that. I just try to keep my weekends open so that I can
Mm-hmm.
rest and just have time for myself.
So you do try to find time that's outside of work. So so there's work time and then there's your time.
Right.
And
Gotta
then
have that
there's
separation.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, nice. And then there's singing time.
Right. There's singing time as well. Singing time is usually on Sundays unless there's other events. So
Uh-huh.
those have to be scheduled in as well.
Mm-hmm. And then you still organize events for yourself. I know there was one particular one that happens every year.
Oh, the
Okay.
Rockford County.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We did it last year. It's usually around August whenever we do it. COVID kind of put that on a hold for a while, so we got it started back up last year. And
Mm-hmm.
I just learned to delegate a whole lot more because that it just can be so stressful trying to do that, plus manage business and
Mm-hmm.
amongst other things. So I've been learning to delegate a whole lot more, especially when it comes to events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's still you're still not leaving behind your singing and the gospel group or anything. You still find time for 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 the time for yourself, the time for the family, and following through on your passion.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like I said, scheduling has been my
Mm-hmm.
best friend. Scheduling and planning out my days, my
Mm-hmm.
weeks, so that I can make time for all things that I want to do. And it's not just work all day every day.
Right, right, right. And I think that I'm glad you mentioned it again. The scheduling. I mean, running a calendar is I think is one of the most important parts of in the top five, top three when when you're following through with your career is because you could lose track of time, especially when you're doing something you like and you love, and you can lose track of time and other things fall by the wayside, and there's time for the client interaction and then the
Yeah,
time for the actual design work and then there's time for running of the business.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, you have to separate everything. And I had even got to the point where like I had to schedule what time, like you said, what time you gonna interact with clients. So don't
Mm-hmm.
even touch the emails, don't open emails until this part of the day. Because
Uh-huh.
if I get into opening emails, I know that's a distraction from this that I
Mm-hmm.
gotta do. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you really have to schedule everything and
Mm-hmm.
set a time aside for everything, because like even with working with projects or creating content for social media, once I start working on something, I'm going. And there have been days where I've forgotten to eat because I'm
Mm-hmm.
working so
Mm-hmm.
diligently on a project or on, just creating content. So I have to even schedule as well as set alarms for myself. Like
Yeah.
this time you got to stop. You got
Mm-hmm.
to stop because you haven't eaten.
Yeah.
You haven't eaten yet, and
Uh-huh.
it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's right. There you go. Gotta take care of yourself. Find the time.
yeah, I found the time.
So, last couple of things is can you give us? Okay, so I know that you have a Wednesday um, a thing that you do online that you share. Where it's
Yeah,
something I forget what it's called. Can you tell us
Web
more about
Wednesday.
it? What
Yeah,
is it?
so I do Web Wednesday the
Mm-hmm.
first and third Wednesday of the month, of every month, and I'll put out a new video, and it's basically giving insights and tips on how a business or organization can utilize their website to help them grow their business and make
Mm-hmm.
meaningful connections with their customers. So I
Mm.
share a lot of different tips and insights on websites and sometimes even branding and just how all that can work together to help, make more out of your website.
Mm-hmm.
because I
That's a
feel
good.
like your website is your uh, should act like a business partner for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's reaching beyond where you can reach. It should know everything about your business. It should be able to share everything there is to know about your business, and it should be able to reach your target audience
Mm-hmm.
in a meaningful way. So those are the tips I try to share just to help people make their
Yes.
websites work for them.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Because the website could make money while you're sleeping. The
Exactly.
website. That's the job. That's the job of the website. You wanna employ robots. You want to put robots in your employment. That's it. That's the robot right there.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah. Anytime somebody looks you up, the robot is there to answer. Like, what's up? What you need? And it
Right.
should be evident. I get it. Uh huh. And so these Web Wednesdays. Um, so since you started to do those Web Wednesdays, do you film them all in one day and then publish one every Wednesday, or do you sit down on Tuesday and say, okay, I need to work on my Web Wednesday?
Well, that's another part of my scheduling. So
Mm-hmm.
I basically write out all my content for my Web Wednesdays as well as my social media posts. I'll take maybe 1 to 2 days, um, usually the first or second week of the month,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll write out all the content, and then either the second or third week is when I'll take the Web Wednesday content that I've written, and then I'll record those videos, edit them, and then schedule. I schedule all my posts. So
Mm-hmm.
everything that I write, I do it a month in advance, and then schedule it to release the following month.
Oh, okay, okay. So you're not like me running around trying to finish the video because it's got to publish like today.
I used to, but I'm like, I can't. I don't want that stress anymore.
Uh huh. Uh huh. So you automate some things.
Yes, sir. I have
Very
to
good.
automate.
Uh huh. Automate. Nice. Use the tools that are there for you to help you run your business, and make your life a little easier. Nice. Yeah, and any stress you can unload, you gotta do it. You gotta do
Oh
it.
yeah.
And so then, uh, let's talk about what kind of response have you been getting from these Web Wednesdays? Have you seen uptick in engagement and clients?
Now, I've definitely seen an increase in engagement. It has helped to generate leads for my business, for new clients. Even just doing the posts on social media, I've had people calling me, wanting to uh, have business or do business with me. But I did find, and it also has helped me kind of restructure how I share and what content in particular I need to
Mm-hmm.
share, because I've gotten calls from, some of those people that I don't really want to do business with. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I must not be marketing the message
Mm-hmm.
properly for them to
Mm-hmm.
see, okay, that's not exactly what I do. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it definitely has helped me to define what I need to share exactly and how.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. That's funny you just mentioned that because that's exactly what social media marketing should do is to talk to the exact client you want to talk to that you want
Right,
coming back to you. That's
right,
right. Uh huh. Yeah. So you're
right,
applying for your business the things that you talk about that people should be applying for their business.
right. That's true. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's also helped me to just realize some things that people still aren't really aware of and don't
Mm-hmm.
really know. And so
Mm-hmm.
that has helped me to produce even more content, and, you
Mm-hmm.
know, help me to just decide what type of content needs to go out and what people
Mm-hmm.
really need to know.
So are you taking like most commonly questions that people ask you as inspiration for here's something that I need to talk about?
Right. Yes. Exactly. Common
Yeah.
questions and just things that I see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, things that I see. And I think it was you that told me one time, like, just something that I saw that I wanted to respond to, and I posted. I'm like, you were like, use that as content. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of ranting about it on social media,
Yeah.
create a blog or a video or something that addresses that issue so that people are being educated and
Mm-hmm.
not feeling like they're being attacked.
Mm-hmm. Right, right, right.
Mhm.
Don't get into an internet argument and then
Right.
had it.
Yeah.
No, I feel the same way on a lot of my posts is that instead, and because I'm a passionate person, and so instead of getting irritated by something that's online, even though you get annoyed and irritated anyway, but instead of responding with to it, I'm like, you know what? It's if somebody was to look for this answer instead of talking crazy on the internet and they went looking for the answer, I wanted to find my answer. I wanted
Right.
to find what the constructive information. So yeah, that's super important as it builds you up to a position where now then people start looking for you
Mhm.
for answers. They're like looking to you for answers on these particular subjects, and you got all the practice in already. You already used to talking about it. Like, yeah, I got you.
Right. Positions you as the professional.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and I stress this a lot with artists all the time. It's like, yeah, yeah, we don't need to talk about that. Don't say this. Don't try that because this is like you because now you look crazy just like every person out there.
Right.
I get it. So, if you had a piece of advice for someone who is getting their hands into some web design tools and they feel like they want to be web designers and work professionally in the field, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would tell them to learn the basics first. Um, Make sure you learn the basics and not just on the design side, but on the back end and the technical side as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen a lot of people who gone into it professionally and they got the look, they got the design side right, but
Mm-hmm.
they they don't know the basics of the things that go on the back end. Like I had a client that came to me had his website done, and he had to come to me
Mm-hmm.
because he was getting errors, and that he was getting that the error in the browser, like when you go on Google and it
Mm-hmm.
shows that your website is insecure. And so,
Mm-hmm.
those are the basic things that you need to know, like
Mm-hmm.
why is that showing up on my website? It's
Mm-hmm.
because uh you didn't what's the word? You didn't put on the SSL certificate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's things like that on the back end that you have to know. So I would tell them to make sure you know uh the basics on the back end and not just design. And
Mm-hmm.
I would also tell them to um instead of just doing like a questionnaire, to actually talk with the customer and
Mm-hmm.
get to know the brand, get to know who their customers are so that you can create something that's going to help them reach their target audience, something that's going to appeal to their target audience, and that's going to help them meet their goals. So don't just focus on the design side, focus on the development on the back end, as well as getting to know your customer and their customer so
Mm-hmm.
that you can create something that's meaningful and something that helps them reach their goals.
All right, there you go. Woo, that's good. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, Stephanie. You're hardcore. You're awesome. I love the work that you're doing, and I appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
The Artist King podcast is made possible by the support of our sponsors, Azalea Creative Group, Sketchable Plus, and Visual Artworks. Once again, I am DTM, and I look forward to sharing the business of art with you. Until next time, stay creative.